Bonjour! Dans cette vidéo, on parle des pays et des nationalités. Voilà, la première phrase. Gino habite à Rome. Il est italien. Madame Roberge habite à Montréal. Elle est canadienne. So in this section, when we're talking about countries and nationalities, there are some important things to note. First thing to note that I believe is on page 32 of your e-book is that we need to know this preposition à. It's going to come in front of a city. À Rome, à Montréal, à Cincinnati, à Paris, right? So before a city, we're going to use the preposition à. So now that we know Gino habite, he lives in Rome, he is Italien. And we're using that as an adjective. He is Italian. And so we have the masculine form. Now in your book on page 31, you're going to see a long list of different countries and then the nationalities, including whether you're using it as a person, which note those are capitalized, or if we're just using it as an adjective. And here we're using it as an adjective. So you see that Italien is lowercase. And then we have the masculine form because Gino is il, he's masculine. So we're using Italien. If I was talking about a girl, she would be Italienne, right? I'm going to hear that N. So the pronunciation is different and the spelling is different. You want to go through on your ebook and listen to each one of those countries, listen to how they're pronounced, how the nationalities are pronounced, especially masculine versus feminine. Then we have Madame Roberge. The MME, just in case you're wondering what that is, that's the shortened form of Madame, right? Just like we have the MRS for Mrs. So Madame Roberge habite, and where does she live? À Montréal, right? And Montréal is in Canada, so elle est canadienne, okay? And so that's kind of like the Italien, Italienne, Canadien, Canadienne. We're going to hear that difference between the masculine and the feminine and note the spelling. We're doubling the N and there's an E, and there are several. Algérien, Algérienne, okay? Américain, Américaine. Which if I can move this and it doesn't bother you too much, you'll see here at the bottom I added a few. So here's our Américain, Américaine, though notice the N is not doubled in this one and there is an accent mark. Then of course we have ones that end in S, like Chinois, Chinoise, Français, Française. Okay, so you're still, again, going to hear that pronunciation. There are a few, of course, that don't change at all, like Suisse, okay? Il est Suisse, elle est Suisse, okay? Il est Belge, elle est Belge. Il est Russe, elle est Russe. So there are some that do not change. So it's very important to go into your ebook, look at those, study those. What are the countries? Most of them, the adjectives are very close to what their countries are, so that makes it a little bit easier. Though do note that for Américain, donc nous sommes Américains, we are American, but we live aux États-Unis. We live in the United States. So that one's kind of, for us, is kind of different. So les États-Unis, but we are Américain, Américaine. So I hope that helps clear up any sort of questions. With your preposition for your city, you want to use the à, and then you want to study the endings on your adjectives. Is it Italien, Italienne? And you're going to notice that whether I'm using it as an adjective or whether I'm using it as a person, as a noun, that the pronunciation and the spelling is not going to change. It's simply the difference between a capital letter and a lowercase letter. I hope that helps. Let me know if you have any questions. Au revoir.